dear brothers, Dominican, Ivan and Joe. I think you will remember this day of your profession taking place as it is on the feast of Saint Dominic first and during the general chapter here in Turkey and far from your country. You will remember that it took place in this company of your brothers and sisters who have come from north and south, from east and west. It was in their presence you prepared your profession and you promised obedience, either for 1 or 2 years, or indeed until death. In either case, it's the very same promise of obedience to the word. This vow of obedience is spoken joyfully and also humbly, because nobody could really believe himself capable of it. This obedience is the vow that forms the company of mendicants, to quote the sequence for Saint Dominic's Day. It has to do with obeying the word, the word who came into the world as a mendicant. That very word, verbum Dei, become man, enters the world begging. He begs for hospitality. The very same hand that reaches out to ask is also open to receive. The same gesture of asking sees him offering the friendship of God. The Word of God put himself at risk, voluntarily becoming vulnerable, and it is in thus leaving himself open to the hospitality of the world that, like a man in the midst of both, he confronts all the forces of division and violence and will overthrow them for the world's salvation. The harvest is plentiful, brothers, because this grace of friendship that the Son of Man offers is offered to all men and women. He goes ahead. Mysteriously, he is already present to those women and men to whom he sends him. We will remember this day, brothers, the day when we see the chapter, as it were, by rejoicing in what constitutes its principal strength. This day, today, we will have celebrated the profession of these young friars and done so together with them. We will remember that with these brothers, we have stretched ourselves out on the ground once again and implore the mercy of God. We respond to the extraordinary gift of God's presence and His friendship given us by the Son. We respond fraternally to the amazing gift of the friendship of God. Go and tell my brothers was the mission He entrusted to Mary Magdalene after the resurrection. To this very gift of God's presence and friendship, we offer the same response. Whenever yesterday, today, and each day of our lives that God will provide. And this response consists in something being offered, and yet at the same time includes an urgent request. This response is an offering, since we could not give anything in return for the life we have received, apart from our presence, our very own life, right to death. And we do so starting today and each day as fully as we can. But as I said, offering is also a request. The request is that we be lifted up, carried and supported by the mercy of God. Take no haversack with you, no sandals, no money. Do not be tempted by worldly greetings while you are on the way. Allow only the gentle mercy of God to be your treasure, your strength, your nourishment. It's not, in the first place, your ability, your intelligence, your talent for preaching that will respond to the word who comes and whom you wish to announce. No, we know that. It is the word itself that will form your response. The word that lives and works within us, within you. The word that heals and restores us. The word that makes us life truly as we are. The word that dwells and will continue to dwell in your words, in our words, in your witness, in our witness. This word of mercy utters and brings to birth a friendship that binds its own destiny with that of those men and women to whom that word addresses himself as a mendicant. It speaks the covenant accomplished by the Son of Man at the risk of confronting what is darkness and death in this our humanity. This word speaks the covenant for the resurrection. As we seek mercy, we ask God to lift us up from the depth of our darkness and by the strength of His love, make of us preachers of resurrection. In the course of this chapter, whether here in Split or in Trogi, we will have had the opportunity to celebrate our chapter in the heart of the world, even if at the beach. I should perhaps confess that at times the situation seemed to me almost surreal. So many words about those we hope to meet, and yet so few encounters. Quite a gap between the little world that the chapter is and the normal world that carries on all the time we keep talking. As we well know, the people we come across are not priorities. They are not frontiers. Nor they are mandates for mission, nor even constitute challenges or problems. Yes, certainly, we do need these ideas. We need to deliberate on them. But the time comes when we have to put all this away in a bag we will not take with us, and then go back toward the towns and villages where He has preceded us. The time comes we leave in order to meet and dine, and then discover that in the middle of the world, the Son has sown the grace of His presence, the grace of the world. How beautiful it is to see the preacher running in the mountains, proclaiming peace, swimming at the beach. This exclamation, brothers, is not first and foremost a sense of admiration for those who go and run along the roads. Rather, it is the exclamation, the hope that one day, from the mountain tops and from the most remote corners of the world, those women and men of all peoples, races, nations will gather, those whom Christ wishes to assemble as His church. As wheat was once scattered on the hills and then was gathered and formed into one loaf of bread, as we find it described in the Didache. The mission of the preacher of resurrection, together with all those women and men who also evangelize, this mission is to take to the world the hope of this gathering of the kingdom. My brothers, you make profession in the order of preachers. One could say much and share many theories with you concerning this religion, this calling vocation. I would like to share just one of these, basing myself on the reality of this chapter. Those gathered here are brothers and sisters of St. Dominic. One day, following the example of Jesus' preaching, Dominic was seized, as it were, by a sense of this urgency of sharing his conviction that communion was possible among human beings based on the new life brought by Christ. Beyond the divisions that may have existed in the church of his day, beyond the temptation to set up distinctions between believers according to different degrees of perfection or purity, established on the basis of our own human image of perfection or purity, Dominic became a preacher of communion and peace, wishing to establish again and again the Church of Christ as a sacrament of that dialogue and peace given by God, the Savior of the world. He, Dominic, took the path of itinerancy once more for the sake of the kingdom, as Jesus had done. And then others joined Dominic soon enough. And then you are here. According to our tradition, Dominic asked these first companions to promise him common life and obedience, fraternity then, and listening to the word. I mean the human reality of our fraternity, of which the co-operator brothers are particularly the guardians, and the reception of the word of grace and salvation. Let us draw life from these two, fraternity and listening to the word, and also to pass them and thus enable others to live. This is our mission, the very same profession, obedience.